the movie is much more heavily scripted than you think. Like every time she says or like, that's all in the script. That's all Elsie memorizing those pauses, because a lot of the dialogue was recycled from real YouTubers. And I think that there is a language out there of self-expression on YouTube that is it's its own art form.
Hey guys, it's Kayla back with another video. So, the topic of today's video is being yourself.
Creating all the profiles was really about like researching the titles, researching what these videos sound like and look like and feel like as a form of self-expression, and then trying your best to be as subtle, because that's not a joke. The only way that movie is funny is if you're not trying to make a joke.
Being yourself can be hard, and it's like, aren't I always being myself? And yeah, for sure. But being yourself is like not changing yourself to impress someone else.
All the social media was real. Like, we faked all the accounts. I started from 6 months out just making fake profiles for everybody. And I don't have any social media.
Yeah.
So the learning curve was very complicated, like trying to figure out how to use Instagram and shit. And then also to get fake likes, and all these things. Because a big part of the experience was her being able to actually use the internet on camera. That has to come up naturally. You can't fake that.
Yeah.
So we had to create this environment where it felt really real. What I think is amazing about the making of that movie, and I think that the mark that was so successful, is that we spent all summer with these kids, and by the end of the summer, not Kayla, but Elsie was so fucking famous to those kids. She was such a hero. She was such a champion, because this weird, quiet girl, like, they just cheered her on every day. It was amazing.
A lot of people call me quiet or shy or whatever, but I'm not quiet.
Most quiet, Kayla Day.
We lived in a house, myself, the cinematographer, Bo, the director, and the producer, Chris. We all lived in this house together, and every day, it's a bunch of white dudes making a movie about a young girl. And so every single day we would try our best. It was never a consideration that we were trying to tell a story that we didn't understand. It was more like, what can we explore that's universal, and that it's so obvious that she is just a filter for Bo in a lot of ways. And so every day we would make the movie, and we go back to the house, and we were in the woods. I mean, we rented this house in the woods. We would go back to this house, and we would sit around a campfire and have a beer and just be like, okay, what do we remember about being that age? What has changed? What's universal? What would be going through this person's head? And what are people going to think about how she deals with these situations? We tried every day to be as sensitive as we could, because the joke is not about being that age. The joke is about the fact that she understands the world just as well as anybody else, and the fact that nobody gets that is the thing that's funny, So we tried really hard to be as human as possible.
Yeah.
Just because things are happening right now doesn't mean they're always gonna happen.
What was in there?
Just sort of my hopes and dreams.
Right.
I think part of that was for production design was how can you find the sensitivity to being that age means you want to be an adult. So for example, when you're that age, I feel like, at least when I was that age, trying to be an adult meant hoarding these things that make you feel grown up, like perfume samples, from the mall. You would get them and they would just sit on the nightstand and you'd never use them, but it was something that one day you could afford as an adult. And so it was this marker of adulthood that you wanted to hoard. Stuff like that was stuff that we would constantly work with. So on the wall was, Metro cards from various visits to New York City taped up, because it's these markers that this person exists. So that was kind of the driving factor in the design, and then it was really about how to find a way to make that look beautiful.
As always, make sure to share and subscribe to my channel. Gucci
apparently was something that people were just saying at that moment, and when Elsie came on set, she was just she was just like Gucci, and then Bo was like, whoa, what was that? So it became a thing. I think that it probably lasted a little bit longer than it would have because of the movie.
You never know what's next, and that's what makes things exciting and scary and fun.